Hey everyone, it's Cecilia. Just wanted to get on here. I haven't been on for a few months, mainly because I have been extremely busy. Not to mention, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, I've I have to spend more time in meditation and grounding myself. I did get to go on a 5 day, 51 mile canoe trip down Swanee River. That was very grounding for me. Unfortunately, we're in severe drought here in my area of Florida, and where it should be 25 feet deep, the water, I was canoeing along, and my paddle kept hitting the ground. So we're in some serious drought. But it was really good to get out in nature, and I really needed that, to be honest with you. I really needed that. Anyway, what I want to do today is I want to go over, I haven't been on since January, mainly because I've been really busy. But I have I've been so busy I haven't even got my hair cut. That's why it's pulled back like this. I'm like, oh, I need to get a haircut. There's no time. I want to go over the reading so far, to compare what I said at the beginning of the year for the year. I don't know if you remember where I pulled out a card for each month that represented the month. So we're going to look over January through February. And in January, I pulled out the concept from the predictions deck. I used the Trish James Oracle cards. Okay, Oracle cards are a little different than Tarot. Tarot, there's specific meanings. There's a lot of symbolism in that. This is, and you of course, you do have to use your intuition, but these are totally by intuition. Okay, so in January, the thing was consequences, damage is done. And what I did was I talked about Maduro and how the world is judging us and looking at us differently based on what we have been doing. I'm sure the going after Maduro and taking him out, blowing up the boats, didn't help. And then in February, I talked about the worldwide earth, where there was going to be even more judgment. Well, what do we start doing? We started blockading the Cuba, and talked about going after Greenland again. And hey, it's always the girls. The girls don't. I got 5 cats. The girls, they always act up. Anyway, I talked about that it was going to set a precedent. What we did in with Maduro and that, it was going to set a precedent that we would be able to do more of this. And as we're seeing now, we blockaded Cuba. We are going after, we started attacking Iran. We act like, oh, we can do anything, and we set a precedent for that. And nobody held the regime accountable for that. And, we're being judged. We're being judged harshly. If you look at what is happening, we're losing our allies. They're making new alliances. And in the end, that's going to come back to bite us. In fact, it's biting us in the butt now because we have a regime that's saying, well, you're not helping us. Well, what'd you expect? You started a war. You don't help. You if you get attacked, then we will help you, but you started it. So that's kind of where we're at there. In March, I had had public life burnout. And what I talked about there, she kind of represents a journalist because she has a camera there. And, but she also, I think, it's not really that the journalists are getting burnout, but the legislators are. We're having legislators record numbers that are not seeking reelection. They're just not. They're not interested in seeking reelection. And so, and then I talked about also the government and the budget, that we were supposed to be doing the budget. And I had said that, that there was a possibility, that there was a big possibility of having a shutdown. And now, mind you, I read this in January. I didn't read this in March. I read it in January. This is what I was getting from the cards. The video is up. You can, still go and see it. By the way, but they were getting burnout from this because it's that constant, especially with the GOP, they want to do right by their constituents, but they also got to make Trump happy. And you got Mike Johnson. They're getting mad at Mike Johnson. And it's just all those things. And you're getting more pushback, a lot more pushback. In April, I have farming industry. And I said at the time, I wasn't 100% sure what this was about, but that there was something going to be coming in April for the farming industry. Now, recently learned that they're supposed to be getting money. I had talked about, that they probably got money and it wasn't going to be enough, but you were still going to have a bunch of, people losing their land and everything else. But now that we're looking at it, what's happening now with the war in Iran, farmers are going to be hit hard because why? Petroleum is used to make fertilizer, and fertilizer is going to be a problem. It's going to get expensive on top of the diesel fuel that they need to run their tractors and other equipment. So the farming industry is going to take a big hit, and it doesn't matter if you give them money or not. It's not going to be enough to pay for the whole amount that they needed. Okay, so that's where I said that we would be at the beginning of the year to, for the month. So, but that is going to April. So yeah, we're seeing that they're gonna be getting hit. I mean, the price of diesel's already gone up, but April is going to be even worse. And I think that it's going to have more, they're going to have more costs in that. And it's not even just farmers here, it's farmers worldwide. And there's a chance that we could trigger off a famine because, without fertilizer. I mean, when I grow stuff, I make my own type fertilizer. I make what is called swamp juice, and I learned how to make that from David the Good. He does a garden thing. It's about, all these things that you put in, you let it kind of like sit and anaerobic, and let it sit, and then you dilute it, and it's full of nutrients for your plants. I've been doing that for a long time, and it actually works really good. The only other thing that I would use is bone meal, and a lot of that I make myself because I make dog food for the dogs, and I take the bones for the chicken, and I boil, make chicken broth. But then I turn around and I crush the bones and I put that in because that ends blossom end rot. And then, other than that, I don't use anything. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to figure out what is for us to know in April. What can we expect for the month of April? Now I'm going to be using my tarot card deck. Okay, so let's go ahead. And we want to know, angels and guides, please tell us what it is that we want to know for April. What is it that we need to know? What can we expect? What can we expect, angels and guides? Because we know it's going to be on the rough side. I need to get a light on this table. Yes, I need to get a light. All right, so let's take a look. Come on. I'm having problems with my hands today. Okay. All right, So the question, we're asking about April. So what can we get for April? So it is the Page of Swords, okay? Swords are decision making, intellect, and communication. Pages are messengers. They can be young children too, but they are messengers. Okay. So this card talks about new ideas, curiosity, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating, restlessness, and mental energy. Now, I don't know which one of those it's going to be because I've got to pull out all the cards and then I got to look at them and compare them. And that will tell me, it tells me a story. Tarot tells me a story. Now, keep in mind, this is for entertainment purposes only. And the fact that timing is not good in tarot. I have never been able to tell time well with tarot, though some people use the wands as telling time. I'm not good at that. Okay, so we got that. And it's challenged by, okay, the Three of Cups. Threes are about collaborations and celebration, and cups are about feelings, emotions, relationships, and intuition. These ladies are celebrating. It's about friendship, collaboration, creativity, community, and happiness. Okay. At the base of the deck, which I always like to look at the base, is about the Four of Cups. Remember I said cups were about feelings, emotion, relationships, and intuition. Fours are generally stability, structure, and foundation. I call them foundation cards. If you look at him, he's got three cups and he's being offered something, but he doesn't want it. He's got his hands crossed. He don't want anything to do with what is being offered. Okay. So that's usually the base of the deck, usually kind of tells you all, is like a rough synopsis of what the whole card reading is about. Okay. In the past, we have the Lovers. I got to cover because YouTube is demonetizing people for nakedness. Not that I am monetized, because I don't want to be monetized, but this is the Lovers card. Twos are about partnerships and pairings and harmony. Okay, and it is a major arcana. And this is in the past, it was about love, harmony, relationships, union, partnerships, sexuality, passion, values, alignment, deep love, a choice on the strength of two together. Okay. Now, I don't know what all this means until I compare and combine them. So just so you know. Okay. The current situation is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Aces are generally new beginnings, and Pentacles are about modern material stability, well-being, money, ownership, property, and morals. Okay. But it's in reversed. Okay. And being reversed, it talks about lost opportunity, mischance, bad investments, lack of planning, and foresight. Okay. That's our current situation right now. Okay. The overarching energy that is the foundation of this reading is the Three of Wands. Okay. Threes, as I said before, was about collaboration and celebration, and wands are about a challenge, is willpower, action, creativity, instinct, and energy. Okay. With this card, it's talking about playing small, lack of planning, lack of foresight, unexpected delays, obstacles to long-term goals. I'm starting to see a pattern in here. Okay. Lesson to be learned. Okay. This is the High Priestess. and she is in reverse. Now, the high priestess is generally about intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trust yourself, sensitivity, party, and high morals. If you look at the original thing, she's got, symbolism of all the religions. Well, not all of them, but a variety of the Judaism, Muslim, um, Christianity is here. So, I mean, and then what's behind her is Hidden Secrets, but we got it in reverse. And in reverse, it talks about secrets, harm, hidden agenda, disconnect from intuition, withdrawal, silence, selfishness, shallowness, ignorance and misunderstanding. Okay, and that is the lesson to be learned. Okay, and the outcome. This is the 5 of Pentacles. Of Cups. I've already said that cups were about feelings, emotions, relationships, and intuition. This is about instability. 5s are instability, fluctuation, and conflict. If you look at him and then the upside, if I turn it upside down, he's got 2 cups behind him. But he is looking forward, but he's only looking at what he has lost and not about what he still has. Okay. So let's take a look and let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to put you on pause while I analyze these cards, because it's all about it telling us a complete story. So let me put you on pause there for a minute. All right. I think I've got it. Okay. So I asked about April, and new ideas are going to be coming forth, and a thirst for knowledge, and but there's also restlessness here. So I think we're going to be seeing some new ideas coming from this administration, as well as there is a restlessness for the month of April. The challenge is that collaboration is going to be our challenge, because we have kind of burned our allies and people that would have ordinarily helped us, and so we are not going to have that. We're not going to have those friendships, and we're not going to have collaboration, okay, with them. And that's going to be a challenge for us moving forward. We had good allies in the past. We had allies. A lot of people that have always worked with us, like the Australians, the Canadians, England, and other members of the EU. In the past, we had those things, but we lost that opportunity. And we're going to see more of how that's going to hurt us this month. We're going to see a whole lot more. We lost that. And we are, we had, and with this war, the whole lack of planning and foresight has caused so much damage throughout the world. It's going to be really almost next to impossible to get our allies back, because we have damaged. Every country is feeling our pain. Okay. The overarching energy. This is the energy of the whole month of April. And what I'm getting at here is that we lack of foresight, lack of planning again. We did not think about this before we jumped into this war. There was no thought, there's still no plan. We don't even know really what we went in for. I got to be honest with you. First, it was this excuse, and then this excuse, and that was this excuse, and then it was this one. Who even knows? Okay. But it's angered. It's caused a whole, because of our lack of planning, our lack of foresight. This thing that was supposed to last 2 weeks is not going to, it's not lasted 2 weeks, and it's not even going to be ended anytime soon, I don't think. Okay. The lesson for ourselves to be learned is that there's a hidden agenda in here somewhere. Okay, there's a hidden agenda, and along with ignorance and misunderstanding. Hidden agenda for our how I'm reading this card is that our government has a hidden agenda. Okay, that we just really are not 100% privy to. Okay, a lot of it has to do with money. I'm going to tell you that right now. Making money for the industrial complex, maybe even, get your own oil or buy from us, that type of thing. There's a greed aspect onto that as well. And when it comes to ignorance or misunderstanding, I think that's on the part of most of the people in the United States. We're not paying attention. A lot of people, I know, they're struggling, they're trying to make their way, and but they're not paying attention, and they're not holding their legislators accountable. They're not holding the president accountable. And because of that, we're going to have a really bad outcome. And the outcome here is some people are just accepting it as it is. It's in reverse, the Five of Wands, Five of Cups in reverse. They're taking, this is what it is, and some people are having personal setbacks. They had other plans, but because of their finances and everything else that's coming from all this, it's setting them back from their personal goals. And there's some people that are out there that's just out there trying to find peace. Okay, they're trying to find peace, and this has to do with the people. Okay, so let's look at the bottom. We can look at the bottom and see if we can get a few clarifiers here. This is about we talked about the Four of Cups. He's not having any of it. He is done. He's got these three. He doesn't want anything out. He is got apathy. We have a problem with apathy in this country, and that is not helping us at all. Here we have justice in reverse. It's unfairness, lack of accountability, guilt, dishonesty, and punishment. Our lack of accountability, of us not making our legislators accountable, is actually hurting us, but it's putting an unfair thing on other countries. Other countries who have no role in any of this are suffering tremendously. Okay? Temperance in reverse. There's an imbalance. It says extremes, overindulgence. We got alcoholism and addiction, self-healing and realignment. People, as they're going through all this stuff to try to cope, people will use drug and alcohol to try to cope. I've seen it many times before when things get really bad, and it's not good. It really is not good. And we have even people, Hegseth is one, he's an alcoholic, and I'm sure he's probably drinking up a storm. And then we have the Tower. These are all, we got a lot of, when you have like one or two major arcanas in the mix, it's all right. But when you start seeing, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcanas where half the cards, it's time to listen and it's time to pay attention. This is the Tower moment. All hell is going to break loose. all hell. It's about sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, disaster, awakening, release, and sudden insight. A lot of people are starting to get sudden insight. They're starting to look at it and say, wait a minute, but all's going to fall apart. Even if the war ended tomorrow, damage has already been done. There's going to be a tower moment, and it's going to come in quickly. The Eight of Wands. Eights are about motivation to act. Wands are about challenge, action, creativity, instinct, and energy. This is going to come in fast. Challenges are going to come in fast for us. It's going to be a burden. These are tens. Tens are the outcomes and endings. The Ten of Wands. He's struggling. He's got a burden on his chest. He is trying really hard. He's, trying to lift all this up. Everything is, he feels like he's broken. He's a burden. It's hard work. He is struggling. Okay. This is another major arcana, the Hangman, but he's upside down. And so this is about delays and everything being at a standstill, resistance, indecision, fear of sacrifice, lack of control. What's sticking out to me here is people are going to start the resisting. They're really are going to, once everything really hits the fan and it gets really rough, you're going to start seeing people resist. And they're going to start calling their legislators like there's nobody going through. Yeah. Okay, this is another one. The Emperor. Okay. The Emperor. This is about domineering, controlling, lack of discipline, rigid, stubborn, tyrant, reckless. This is Donald Trump. This is my Donald Trump card. Well, one of them. I got a few of them. What he did was reckless, and we're going to pay the price for it. Okay, this is this does not fit. So what we have going on, April's going to be hard. And I've been telling everybody, I hadn't even read the cards. I said it's going to get worse before it gets better. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pull out from our Nature's Whispers. I love this deck. And I'm going to find out what is it that we have to do. Nature's Whispers are an oracle set of cards. Totally love this. Okay. And sometimes I read this based on intuition, and sometimes I read it based on what is in the book. It depending on what I am going to do and what it says. So tell us, what is it that we personally have to do? How can we keep our sanity through all this? How can we make it through? What is it that we can do? Okay, let's take a look. What is it that we can do? All right. Make a decision. We're going to have to make a decision, and many decisions, and what we're going to do to make our life easier. It might be decisions about money. It might be decisions to downsize. It might be, a decision maybe to take on like a gig of some sort, gig work. But we're going to be making some decisions. Shift your energy. You're going to have to do some shifting of your energy. And it's going to be really hard because I don't know about you, but when I get overwhelmed with energy, I struggle. I really, really struggle. And all I want to do is sleep. Just going into the grocery store causes me stress and anxiety because I can feel everybody else's stress and anxiety. I stay away from the meat section unless I got to buy stuff for the dog food. I kid you not, I try to stay away from there because that's where most people's energy is. Like, you could feel it that they're overwhelmed. Nope, I'm stuck in my thing. You've got to figure out what your ideal course of action is. Okay. That goes for all of us. We all have different ways we handle things. So you have to look at what you need, and you have to figure out what your ideal course of action is. How are you going to save money? How are you going to make ends meet? Did you make your community? I've been talking about community for over a year now. Form your community, people that you trust, that you can work with. You know, maybe to borrow tools to complete stuff. Maybe one grows one kind of item and the other one grows another kind of item. Maybe you get together for potluck meals to save money. You know, each person brings a dish, help each other out. Use your community. Illumination. It will come to you, what you need to do. Trust what your angels and guides have to say. Listen to them. They will give you your course of action. Meditate on it. Sit and meditate. Some people pray, but you will be given your course of action. Let's see if this fits in. Make a wish. Not really making a wish per se, but how I'm taking it to mean is that if you are in need, put it out in the universe. Put it in the universe and trust that it is coming to you. I do this all the time. I always have what I need when I need it. I put it out to the universe and then I forget about it. And I will tell you, it does work. But you got to have the trust in your angels and guides and the Creator. Oops. No. That is that in it. So anyway, I hate that when it does it. That is our reading for April. And get out. What I would also add is get out in nature. Nothing will ground you more. Touch a tree, ask them to say, hey, can I sit by you? Can I absorb some of your energy? And can you absorb some of my energy? And just sit down and read. Sit down and relax. Lean up against tree. Tree energy is really unbelievable. And just get out. Even if it's just sitting in your backyard, if you got a backyard, or sitting out in nature, read a book. One of the things that I like to do is I color. I color in coloring books while I'm meditating. A lot of people think, I'm putting out my intentions. I'm coloring in these coloring books. It helps focus my mind so I don't get easily distracted. Try it's going to be hard, but if you get your community and you trust in your spirits and guides and you set your course of action, we will make this. I always get that we will come out okay in the end. And this is no different. You have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again.